All right, guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, you enjoy what you see, hit that subscribe button as I do daily gaming content. We are going to start off here with something that popped up throughout the day yesterday, and it continues with Xbox and potentially what is going to happen. Now, I'll say right off the bat, this one essentially has already been, I would say, debunked, but I can't say for certain. And that is that Xbox will be rebranding Xbox Game Pass to Microsoft Game Pass. So the official GameStop account actually posted an ad for an event that they're having at their store saying, join us on February 10th for the Xbox Demo Day. And it says, come play new Xbox games on the Xbox Series X and S, plus explore the benefits of Microsoft Game Pass. So this obviously had people saying that they were going to potentially be rebranding Microsoft Game Pass. And you know how this works. That starts a rumor, which turns into another rumor and turns into another rumor. And then there's just a whole lot of speculation, like people saying this maybe means they are rebranding. So Game Pass goes on to PlayStation and goes on to the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, we have no idea if that will ever happen. I feel like that's a very low chance that that is going to happen. But when I first saw this, my first thought on this was that, one, it's on February 10th, which would be Saturday, which would be before the event. So I would doubt that they would go out with some new branding anywhere before Xbox talks to their customers about any sort of change in direction. And two, it's GameStop. And GameStop isn't, I would say, the best company in the world. They have made mistakes and stuff. And I just was very skeptical that this really meant anything other than an error at GameStop. And later on, Jez Corden confirms this, saying, just to put the fire out before everyone starts screaming, I am told GameStop just came up with Microsoft Game Pass themselves. The brand is still Xbox Game Pass and PC Game Pass, with no plans to change it right now. So take that for what you will. It doesn't mean it will never change, but if you're hearing a lot of people in the next few days talking about rebranding to Microsoft Game Pass, it's coming from that GameStop ad, which, according to Jez, it was just GameStop coming up with that, and that is not something that has been sent down to them from Xbox and from Microsoft themselves. All right, let's jump over here to another rumor that has been debunked. So if you're seeing headlines or people saying that Toys for Bob has closed down, that is not true. This was something that was being spread around last night, basically, because this article here was going around from the SF Chronicle about Microsoft owned gaming giants layoffs hit 162 Bay Area workers. So we know a week ago about 1,900 workers were laid off at Microsoft because of the ABK acquisition. Most of them from ABK Studios. A lot of those redundancy positions that were laid off. But I mean, it's kind of irrelevant. If you lose your job, it's obviously a terrible thing. But within those layoffs, there were employees from Toys for Bob and Sledgehammer Games that were laid off. So this article was being spread around and people were misconstruing it, spreading misinformation, basically that Toys for Bob was being closed down. And it's because within the California state filings, the addresses of the studios that were being shut were in there. And then they linked up these addresses to Toys for Bob as one of them, and Sledgehammer Games as the other one. And people thought that this meant that Toys for Bob was closing down. And that's not the case. This, from what we can understand now, is basically, as we saw with other studios last week, their studios are closing down. They're going to smaller offices or working remotely until those offices are ready. And this is all part of the consolidation process, where there's going to be a change in buildings and a change in how people work as they go into Microsoft. So Toys for Bob is not closing down. And Jez tweets out here, I also got confirmation that Toys for Bob is not closing down. You had people having to delete their tweets and say that what they had said about Toys for Bob closing down was incorrect, and all this type of stuff. And this is what's going on right now, where it's just people trying to get information out as fast as possible, not be factually correct whatsoever, just to garner the clicks and attention for the news. Because anything Xbox right now that is extremely negative is very popular, and everybody is jumping to it. So if you are seeing the headlines about Toys for Bob closing down, it is not true. All right, let's jump over here. Let's talk about 343. So 343 has hired a brand new studio art director, and that person is Chris Matthews, who is a veteran of the industry, has worked on a ton of franchises. Some of the main ones here: Forza Motorsport, Gears of War, and the Crisis series. Works for Crytek, works for 1010 Studios, Ridgeline Games, and as well as other studios based off of his profile. So a veteran of the industry. Definitely has a good pedigree of games that have had great art direction, just even with those three that I named. All high quality, very good looking games. So he's going to be coming in here for at 343 and working, you would assume, on Halo. The rumors are that 343 has started a bunch of other Halo projects, or at least a couple of other Halo projects, and they say here they've been in the works since April 2022. It brings me back to when 343 announced that they were getting rid of the seasons of Halo Infinite and they were going more with their smaller operations. To me, that was kind of a signal that they may potentially be winding down Halo Infinite at the end of this year, especially if they have other Halo projects in the works. We don't really know what those are, but we've heard so many rumors and rumblings about Halo moving over to Unreal Engine 5 and them going off and just making a new Halo game and getting away from Halo Infinite for the next installment, where I think previously, in my mind, I thought they were going to be keeping Halo Infinite for like 10 years. Now, they could still do that, but it does sound like they are going on for something new, at least for the campaign side of things. They're probably going to be going into something completely different from Halo Infinite. So maybe that's why he's in there, to bring some art direction to that project or whatever else 343 has in the works. But there it is, a new art director at 343. And I'm excited to see what comes out of here, because the way that they were able to turn around Halo Infinite, my hopes are up for whatever comes next in the Halo franchise. I hope they stick with a lot of the core gameplay from Halo Infinite. I think it is the best gameplay in the Halo franchise, and I would hate to see them drastically go away from that if they go to a new engine or something, and then we're stuck with having to start from scratch to improve that gameplay when Halo Infinite is already doing a great job. Let's jump over here. Let's talk about something really quickly. The Halo TV series, I've seen it's gotten a lot of good reviews. I was not a fan of the first season, or at least the little bit that I did watch. I just really couldn't get through it. I don't really like what they did with Master Chief. I'm one of those people who just really want the canon Master Chief. I want them to stick to exactly how the character is in the games, but I get it. It's a TV series, or appealing to a far broader range of people, way more than just the hardcore Halo fans. So I didn't really get into the first season. I don't know if I'll even consider jumping into season 2, but Xbox is giving a perk here for free 30-day trial of Paramount Plus. So if you do want to jump in and watch season 2, you're going to be able to get this perk, watch it, and then if that's all you want to watch on Paramount Plus, you can cancel your subscription. So essentially a free pass to go ahead and watch the Halo TV series. All right, let's talk about some Starfield here. This one's pretty exciting for PC players, and I'm hoping at some point it does make its way over to Xbox. But what this is they have announced their latest Steam beta update includes FSR3 support and additional improvements to graphics and stability. So FSR3 is that technology within AMD, their Fidelity FX technology, super resolution, which allows games to have better frame rates without sacrificing the resolution and the quality of the games. And I think this type of technology is extremely important, especially for the console side of things. This is something that was talked about when the Series X and S were releasing, that they could utilize this technology, especially on something like the Xbox Series S, which is underpowered compared to the higher end consoles, but they would be able to use this technology and increase those frame rates on the Series S, so you would have similar frame rates to what you were getting on other platforms. So obviously that hasn't been the case. They really have not been utilizing this technology on a lot of games, which is unfortunate, but we are seeing here that they are bringing it to Starfield PC. The question is, are they going to be bringing it over to the console versions of Starfield, which I would need, because this is still running at 30 FPS on the Xbox Series X and S. So if they're able to increase that frame rate even slightly, maybe 40 or 45 FPS, I think people would definitely love to see that. And we do kind of have some information here that shows that it is coming to the Xbox Series X and S with FSR3. This is from the AMD Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3 overview and integration presentation. That was a mouthful that they have here. And if you go down in one of their charts, they actually clipped it out on Reddit. So, but if you go through this presentation, you'll be able to kind of see and them talk about all of this technology, but they do clip it out here, and it says FSR3 temporal upscale of input frames with frame generation. It says coming to AMD RDNA series and above, and the Xbox Series X and the Series S. Now, this was posted about 2 months ago. We haven't heard about this coming to the Xboxes. So will that be coming now that they're putting it on PC? Is that the next thing that they are going to be releasing and that they are working on? You go through the comments and some people are saying it will work. Some people are saying it may not work as well as you think. Some people are saying here that frame generation isn't going to be something that is going to be implemented on the Xboxes. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see if Bethesda does anything with this. I hope it's something they're working on. I hope it's a way to improve the FPS on the consoles for those people out there that just don't want to even check it out because it is at 30 frames per second. All right, let's talk about this because this is the FTC versus Xbox, Microsoft, and ABK. That deal, we know it's closed and the deal's obviously gone through, but the FTC is back here and they are going back against Microsoft for this deal. And the reason they're doing that is because of the 1,900 employees that did get laid off just recently from Xbox. It says here, Microsoft's recent layoffs contradict what the company promised of its merger, the FTC says. The Federal Trade Commission complained to a federal appeals court on Wednesday that Microsoft's layoff of 1,900 employees in its video game division went against its representations in courts as it fought to acquire Activision Blizzard. The move undermines Microsoft's claims that the company would continue to operate independently, the FTC said, and will make it harder to get effective relief if the agency succeeds in its administrative proceedings. So, I mean, I'm not really sure what that means, but we go to the more experts on this stuff as to what exactly this could mean. And we can go down here to Hogue Law, who has always been good at discussing this stuff. And he says here, the FTC remains apparently a bit confused as to its statutory purview. Microsoft layoffs do not implicate the antitrust laws in the way suggested, nor is the FTC likely to win on the merits in any event. So from reading that, it sounds like the FTC is just wasting more people's tax money to grasp at a win of some sort. And they're going to continue to probably do whatever they can to try to get a win out of this in any way possible because they want to just beat Microsoft. But we will see if this does end up leading to anything. I feel like at this point, it's just, as I said, it's the FTC grasping for something and it's going to be a lost cause for them. Okay, let's jump over here, quickly talk about this. Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct is getting an update here. They're testing actually something that they're going to be updating, and that is ranked crossplay between Steam and Xbox/Windows players for the very first time. They're doing a test this weekend starting Friday, February 9th. And it ends Monday, February 12th. So you're going to be able to go in there and actually try crossplay in Killer Instinct, which we hadn't seen before. And it's great to see because they brought that anniversary update out. They revitalized the game. More people are playing it again. And I'm still having my fingers crossed here that they eventually bring back Killer Instinct in the form of a brand new game that is built up from the ground for the current generation of consoles. We'll see. They're probably looking at the numbers for Killer Instinct right now from people that are actually playing the anniversary edition and how many people jumped in when they did launch it. And maybe if those numbers are big enough, this may be something that Microsoft and Xbox, they look at getting Iron Galaxy to make a brand new game for Xbox. This is a studio that people have always said they should just go buy them so that they can make the fighting game, so that they can make Killer Instinct. It is one of the game genres that right now Xbox does not have in their first party lineup and is one that is missing. So that would make sense for them to at least bring back a Killer Instinct, put that into Game Pass, and it will be pretty exciting for a lot of people. There's also an update here for Forza Motorsports. So they say there are some important changes coming to the car progression in update 6. 1, all car parts for every car will be unlocked at car level 1. And 2, car points will be acquirable using in-game credits. And then you can check their blog post for more information, but that's just a quick update to that game. All right, so we have a massive deal here to talk about that happened at the end of the business day, you could say yesterday. And that is that Disney is investing $1.5 billion into Epic to create a persistent universe tied to Fortnite. So they say here that in addition to being a world-class games experience and interoperating with Fortnite, the new persistent universe will offer a multitude of opportunities for consumers to play, watch, shop, and engage with content, characters, and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Avatar, and more. And players, gamers, and fans will be able to create their own stories and experiences, express their fandom in a distinctly Disney way, and share content with each other in ways that they love. This will all be powered by Unreal Engine. So this is huge. This is a major thing that just occurred. And this is affecting gaming for sure. They're creating a metaverse with all of the Disney IPs, with Epic Games, with Unreal Engine, Fortnite, all of that stuff. Some of the biggest names in entertainment, some of the biggest IPs in entertainment, to create this just massive metaverse of expansive and open games entertainment universes, I guess what they are calling it. So it says here as well, this sounds a lot like Epic recent collaboration with Lego. In 2022, Epic received a $2 billion investment, which was split between Sony and Kibbe, an investment company helmed by the family behind Lego. I don't know if I said the name right, which resulted in the launch of the survival game Lego Fortnite earlier this year. And that launch was part of a new era for Fortnite, as Epic made a major push to expand beyond the game's battle royale roots, turning it into a platform for other kinds of games and experience. So they're obviously trying to expand Fortnite, the brand, out to more areas to get a broader range of people jumping into it, whether they're big into the game itself or if they're more into like the metaverse style of stuff. I mean, we're looking just at a single game like Fortnite, a single company here like Epic. Epic is massive, but like a single IP going together with Disney and trying different ways to reach more customers. This is happening everywhere. And this is Disney's biggest entry into the world of video games. And again, this is what we talked about maybe last year or the year before or whatever, when we were talking about the fact that the rivals of gaming right now, it's not just Xbox and PlayStation. It's Xbox, PlayStation, then it's all these other massive companies, these huge players that want to get in and have a piece of that pie. It says here, this marks Disney's biggest entry ever into the world of games and offers significant opportunities for growth and expansion. And they say, we can't wait for the fans to experience the Disney stories and worlds they love in groundbreaking new ways. And we're collaborating on something entirely new, to build a persistent, open, and interoperable ecosystem. That's the key word, ecosystem, because we always talk about that with Xbox's ecosystem, PlayStation's ecosystem, that will bring together the Disney and Fortnite communities. It's all about the ecosystem in gaming. And those are statements from Bob Iger, from the Disney CEO, and Tim Sweeney, the Epic boss. So this is huge, a big deal. We'll see what this turns into in terms of another gaming ecosystem with a mix of Disney and Epic. Okay, and to end off, we'll talk about two things here that are pretty interesting. First of all, Nintendo had their earnings report, their financial results, their briefing on Wednesday, and they give us some more information about the future of the Nintendo Switch. So it says here, during a Q&A session following Nintendo's financial results briefing on Wednesday, the company was asked what risks it especially is mindful of as it looks to build on the success of its dedicated gaming platform and its expanding IP business. And this is what they say. We approach our business every day with a profound sense of urgency. The generational transition of platforms in the dedicated gaming console business is never easy. We have experienced significant challenges following successful platforms multiple times, so we never consider our current situation to be fully secure. Furthermore, as you pointed out, our business is always exposed to great competition. From a broader entertainment perspective, not only video games, but also various forms of leisure are competitors in this industry. In this environment, there's an increasing need more than ever before to continue offering unique propositions to become a brand that customers choose, to continue offering innovative entertainment that can be enjoyed by our customers worldwide. We believe that continuing with our integrated hardware, software, dedicated gaming console business is the best strategy at this point. As such, we are advancing various research and development efforts. Since our products are not daily necessities, if they are not interesting, we quickly lose people's attention. Therefore, it's crucial to continue efforts to make Nintendo feel close, even outside of the dedicated gaming console, increase customers who support Nintendo IP over the long term, and maintain connections with our customers. So interesting stuff there. I mean, nothing very surprising. Clearly, Nintendo has to have that urgency. We've seen what happened with the Nintendo Wii, where they were the best-selling console, then they go to the Wii U and they sold 13 million units, and now they're back to being the best-selling console, on the verge of passing the PS2 for being the greatest-selling console of all time. So they're going to continue with the strategy. They're probably not going to go too much off course of what they currently have with the Switch, as we've seen all the rumors, just an upgraded Nintendo Switch, more powerful, probably some additional features in there. They're going to most likely let you bring over all of your physical games, digital library, everything that you've purchased on the Switch, because they would not want to alienate 140, 50, whatever they're going to end up being million units out there, players on the Nintendo Switch. So all of that, I think, is going to be a very safe bet going forward for what the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be. But they do also say something here, or two things here, that I think is actually very interesting. They talk about the integrated hardware, software, dedicated gaming console business. So they are sticking with what they do best, and is closed ecosystem, hardware, which is the console, and then putting exclusives on the platform. I'm sure people seeing this who are Xbox fans are reading this and saying, well, look, why doesn't Xbox just follow Nintendo and do what they do? Well, the biggest thing here that differentiates Nintendo from Xbox and PlayStation is the amount of money they make off of their platform, the amount of money they make off their hardware, the actual attachment rate of their first party games to their console itself, like over 50% compared to like 10 to 15% on PlayStation, and similar probably with Xbox. And on top of that, it's significantly less costly to develop their games. They're not spending hundreds of millions of dollars in the development of these games like we are seeing here from some of the leaks, some of the numbers that came out. Specifically, you think about Spider-Man, where the leak from Insomniac was like 300 million to develop that game. So their profit margins are the best in the industry, at least compared to the big three: Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. So they have a completely different way that they can go about with their strategy. But they do also mention something here that even they are focusing on as the whole industry is shifting towards this, and is the continued effort to make sure that they don't lose people's attention, meaning that getting away from just having the dedicated gaming console and being able to get people to increase their support for Nintendo stuff in other ways over the long term. And that's essentially telling us that they're going to have people invested, have people connected to whoever their next platform is, more so than just being on the Switch. So we will see what that means. We don't know if that's something cloud-based. We don't know, because they have had games where you can actually play on the cloud on their platform itself, where you, like Resident Evil, they had a cloud version of that game on the Nintendo Switch. So lots of stuff here to look forward to when it does come to Nintendo, and I'm excited to see when the Switch 2 gets announced. So I'll definitely be tracking that and talking about it. All right, and then jumping over here, we got to talk about Helldivers 2, because I think this is a very big success story for PlayStation, and I think it will accelerate their plans of releasing their games day and date onto PC at the same time as PS5. I've said on my channel previously that I think PlayStation will start doing this, and they'll start doing it far more often. They'll start doing it with their in-house first-party studios. They were doing it here with Arrowhead, which is not in-house, but they did fund this game. It is a console exclusive on the PlayStation 5, and that is Helldivers 2. It's actually released today, but as of right now, and what we were seeing yesterday, is that they say here that the game has actually surpassed Palworld on Steam's top sellers chart. So you take that information there, and you think about what would happen if PlayStation were to release Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, The Last of Us. They release those styles of games on PC the same time they do release them on the PlayStation 5. Their sales numbers would be through the roof. They would be a top seller on Steam, I would say, for the majority of those games. They would be in the top at least 3 or so. It would be extremely successful for them, and they would be able to bring in money from another platform, the PC platform, right away. We see them release their games months after they've actually released on PlayStation, or even years after they were doing that before. And those games have sold okay, some of them not as much as others, but putting them day and date on PC at the same time as PS5, I believe is going to be that strategy for PlayStation as they continue to expand out and try to reach more people on different screens and have a broader consumer base than just people locked to the PlayStation 5 console. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.